Hi, guys, and welcome to Keep Hope Alive podcast. My name is Nadine. I just wanted to say thank you to all my listeners before we get started. We do have a special guest today. His name is Mark Stubbles, and I'm so excited he's joining us today. But we finally made it to season 6, and we have a new feature on our website where you can leave a message for the guest speaker too, and we can get those answered for you. But not only that, one of our biggest sponsors, Life on Record, has given us a phone number too. And that number is 833-780-HOPE. So remember, you can call and leave a message there as well. So let's dive in. And before I get started with you, Mark, how many weddings have you been to in the past 10 years?
In the past 10 years, none that I can think of, actually. I think I've only been to about 3 weddings in my life, and one of them was my own.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
congratulations. Now, let's talk about your wedding. Now, when they came into the ceremony part, did you guys have a guest book for them to sign in?
we didn't actually, no. No.
Okay. Did you do something else?
It was a very low-key affair. I have been to weddings with guest books before.
Okay. Okay.
I think my brother's wedding was a much grander event. I think he did have a guest book.
Gotcha. Okay. So, Life on Record, I'm going to tell you about them. They're so cool. They took the concept of the guest book and turned it into a rotary vintage phone. So when your guests go in, they can pick up the phone and say, congratulations. Now they can leave it as a 1 minute call message, 5 minutes, and even 30 minutes. But right next to it is a QR code that the guests can scan with their phone, and they can use their own cell phone even during or after the event. Now, with all those messages collected, they will burn it onto a 12-inch vinyl record, or they have this cute little boom box they can put all those messages in for you guys to listen back to. Maybe it's a 1 year anniversary, but you get to hear people's voices. And I love that aspect. What they did is amazing to capture that special message. So plans only start $99 for the year. So let's get rid of that guest book that is fill in, and let's change it with voice. Let's have fun. Visit them at www.lifeonrecord.com. All right, Mark. So I was looking over your bio. Now, you
Mhm.
need to correct me. I get anything wrong, but you're a hypnotherapist. And
I
you
am.
yes. And you teach some online courses, and you help many people to stop smoking, which is amazing. I grew up, my parents were big time smokers, but I give credit to my brother yelling at them all the time. They stopped. I want to say a little bit was on their own, but one started it, the other followed and said, hey, I can do that too. And then they both quit. So you also help people lose weight and increase their confidence all through hypnosis. So, let's rewind. I want to get to know you. So, where are you from because of your accent?
Okay, so I'm from the UK. I'm from Britain. Um, about 20 miles from central London. So my accent is a kind of London accent.
Okay. Well, what time is it there right now? Because I know it's like 5 o'clock my time. Are you guys 8 hours ahead or?
Right now, I'm actually in Albania,
Okay.
in southeastern Europe, and it is 10 past 12 in the evening or
Oh,
morning. Even.
wow. You're up late. Well, thank you. So
Uh,
that's amazing. I'm glad that you do that. I know with some of the guests that I get, they're in Canada, they're in London, Australia. I've just had them everywhere, and I'm so appreciative. So I try to work with their times and everything, but if I would have known. So, but definitely. And what took you to Albania?
Hmm. Well, it took me to Albania. I've been traveling. I've been around, kind of a digital nomad. They uh, they call it
Oh,
in these kind of times. I see clients online. I have courses online. I do all my marketing online. And that allows me to be location independent. So
yeah.
I choose to be somewhere where it's a bit warmer and a lot cheaper.
Well, hey, kudos to warmer and cheaper. I wish we had that in Texas. It feels like Texas is turning into a California all of a sudden. So prices are way too much. I'm like, "Ah, get me out of here. I want to move."
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. So, all right. Well, at what age did you say, "Hey, I want to do this with my life and help people"? Like, did you know it at an early onset age?
Well, I've always had an interest in psychology. It wasn't until I was about 36 years old
Okay.
when I started, becoming very interested in hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy was something that I used myself. I used to have quite severe issues with anxiety, and it just reached a point where I was looking for solutions, and hypnotherapy was the only thing that I found to be effective. So I decided to develop a career around that.
Okay. You see, I've never been through that. So, talk, I'm dumb right now. Like, what is it? Do you have somebody, are you sitting up? Do you have to lay down? What does it actually entail?
Well, however they feel comfortable. Usually, most people choose to sit up. Um, Hypnosis is just a focused state of attention. If you've ever driven somewhere, got to your destination, and not remembered the journey, that would be an example of hypnosis. Watching TV, you zone out, lose track of time. Whether you're watching finished and you think, wow, where did all that time go? That would be an example of hypnosis. So it's not something that I do to clients. It's something I do with clients. When we do hypnosis, we're looking to access the unconscious or subconscious mind to make changes at a deeper level.
Okay, gotcha. So this could actually help people not only with the anxiety, but people who've been through traumas too. You know,
Absolutely.
so it's like you're rewinding time, but you're moving time. That's what it sounds like to me. It's like it's gonna go by, but you're gonna be able to talk about something that is buried inside of you to help heal. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And anxiety is usually a symptom of trauma. Anxiety is a conditioned response. Um, So when you experience anxiety, you're actually moving into the fight or flight state, and the symptoms that you experience, such as sweating, would allow you to cool down in any kind of activity that your mind perceives may be coming. Your heart rate's going to increase to get the blood flowing around your body so you can either fight back or run away.
Oh, you have a
Um,
choice. I'm like, you have a choice going back. You can fight back or run, run away. I'm gonna fight back, if I ever have this done. Because I think a lot of people will go, if I had the time to rewind and go back, this would have never happened. So,
mhm.
but yeah, so oh my gosh, with the clients that you see, how long is a session usually take?
Sessions usually take an hour and a half to 2 hours. So
Okay.
depending on how much someone wants to talk, some clients it's harder to get information from, so that I can, find um, a resource state or something that we can do the hypnosis around. Um, Other clients just like to talk, and they talk for 2 hours straight, and we don't do any formal hypnosis. When I talk to clients, I'm still using conversational hypnosis and covert hypnosis techniques. So even though they don't close their eyes and go into what would be considered a state of trance, they're still experiencing hypnosis.
I was like, I hope you're not doing that to me right now. I'm like, here, let
Well,
me close my eyes. So, but definitely. So, I want to start with the smoking because that is a bad habit that, I think it starts when you're young. That's how I've seen it. Your parents probably did it. You're a kid, you started it up, and you can't break the habit because it's just like you're used to having that. Now you see like the vapes and what was it called? The e-cig, people are drawn to that and they're like, well, at least I got rid of the cigarette. But still, it's a constant, need something in your hand just to smoke on. So when you're going through hypnosis, I mean, do you find out why they start it and work the way? Do they really need to do it? How does that work?
yeah, that's right. Hypnosis is very much a habit. It's not. People think it's an addiction, and you hear, people say that nicotine is more addictive than heroin. But if someone's addicted to heroin and they stop um, taking heroin, they're going to have very bad withdrawal symptoms. They could possibly even die. Whereas if someone stops smoking, the worst they're going to get is a headache. So, on that, reasoning, it can't be as addictive as heroin, can it? It is a habitual addiction, and there's various things that remind people to smoke throughout the day. Um, you know, Having a coffee someone could associate that with smoking, or having a break at work, someone could associate that with smoking. So using hypnosis, we can break those habits. Sometimes it is also about suppressing emotions. And similarly with eating, emotional eating, food is the most common substance people use to try and suppress their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so becoming more in touch with your emotions and not fighting your emotions. What resists not only persists but becomes stronger. So the more you try and fight against the feeling, the stronger it's going to become. So yeah, with my sessions, I try and get clients to reconnect with their emotions, to
I'm
accept their
sorry.
emotions, not try
Yeah,
and
I have
fight
to
them.
laugh at this. I have to laugh at this, because I'm sorry, but my ex, he smoked all the time, and it wasn't like every hour or every 3 hours. It was just like one after another. And I'm sorry, I know he's listening to this probably, and I'm talking about you now. But it was funny because as much as he would smoke, work, come and get his coffee, I mean, it was bad. There was no way like I could say, hey, can you try to quit? I mean, I think the only thing I ever asked is please don't smoke in front of my son. I don't like that smell. And but it got to a point like he would be smoking all day, then he would come and eat a bunch of sugar. And this guy never gained any weight. But I was like, I would look at him. he would have be asleep. And I'd be like, why doesn't he have a cigarette in his mouth while he's asleep, you know? So I think it was just, when he's awake, he feels the pressure of work and getting things done, and that becomes it. But I guess, do people ever tell you, no, I just have the hardest time of quitting? I'll think about it, but maybe they do go through this. Yay, it works, but has it not worked for anybody? I'm asking you these questions for a reason. I mean, everybody's
There's
different.
always, absolutely, there's always cases when it doesn't work. Everybody's different. Um, Hypnotherapy has actually been shown in quite a few studies to be the most effective smoking cessation method. So I'd say it probably works for kind of, I don't know, 85% of people. But yeah, there will always be people that just don't want to stop. If you don't want to stop, then nothing's going to stop you.
They'd probably be smoking through the session. I'm
Well, I've
sorry.
never had that,
But I kind of got to giggle at that one just because of what I witnessed and seen. All right. So smoking, I mean, has anybody ever came to you? Maybe they were overeating and like you help people with weight loss. I mean, because
but
comfort food is the word. I was overweight back in the day and I had the gastric sleeve and bypass, but my goodness, did I learn how to eat? Do I still have a sweet tooth? Of course, but can I eat much of it? No. And in fact, my portions are a lot smaller, but I feel like my cravings are fruit. And my mom always laughs at me. I go, I just want some apples, bananas. No, you just want a donut. It's like, not really. Everything has changed in my world, but if you're helping people to be able to put that in their mindset, that's great. That is good. And I can see it definitely helping people out. So, have you heard success stories from your clients that you helped? So, like how much weight did they lose and stuff?
yeah, many success stories. Most of the clients I work with have PTSD,
Mhm.
complex trauma. Uh, so most of my clients are reporting, success around um, those kind of issues.
Okay.
But just like with smoking, eating is another way to try and suppress your emotions for a lot of people. Emotional eating, food is the most common substance that people use to try and suppress their emotions. So again, by getting in touch with your emotions, accepting your emotions, you can start to break the emotional eating cycle. Also, your mind can't tell the difference between a real or an imagined event. So, just by imagining yourself the way you want to be, you actually create new neural pathways in your brain and you can start to become that person. So, yeah, visualization. Um, Hypnosis is very good for overcoming trauma, releasing trauma. And you were saying about going back in time and like rewinding things that you've done. We can actually do that hypnotically. There's a technique called the rewind technique, which is very, very successful at helping people overcome trauma. And yeah, I've had clients with very severe PTSD who have been able to overcome that within 3 to 6 sessions.
Oh,
Most of
wow.
my clients, overcome lifelong issues within 3 to 6 sessions.
Oh boy, 3 to 6 sessions. I'm just, I probably will admit that I probably have some form of PTSD because of my doctor, but like knowing that I fell and had a seizure in the hospital bathroom. It's never the same when I'm in the hospital and they're like, go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go, because I have that memory of what happened. So, but if it's going to take away that, so I'll be able to go in the bathroom at a hospital and be like, hey, you're fine. That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes. We
Okay.
could rewind that traumatic memory and you release the emotion related to that memory. And traumatic memories actually carry more emotional weight, more emotional charge than, than ordinary memories. Because if you experience a trauma, you need to remember it so you don't repeat that trauma again. If you're walking through the jungle and you hear a rustle in the bushes, you're going to have a look and there's a big tiger there. Next time you're in the jungle, you need to know not to do that. So traumatic memories carry more emotional weight. So yes, using hypnosis, we can release that emotion, we can release that trauma from that memory.
Gotcha, gotcha. So with the online, it's good to know that they can reach out and get in touch with you, and the time frame of knowing, I was thinking is hour, but 2 hours is really good because they want to definitely get their money's worth if they're going to go through all this. And the 6 sessions, I mean, are you working with your clients to meet their needs with their work schedules and everything?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very flexible
Obviously, if you're
around.
up this late.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, definitely. And then the other thing that you had mentioned, it was smoking and weight loss and um what I want to go more into depression because anxiety and depression are just two different things, because anxiety is like, oh my gosh, this is happening and da 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 da, or depression, you just get into this huge weighted slump and you really don't know how to get out of it. So, is there different techniques between each one that you're kind of doing, to help them? Because depression, I mean, that's what I want to focus on right now is the depression part.
well, based I kind of base the hypnosis sessions on the client. So every session is kind of bespoke, um, based on where the client's at, what the client wants to achieve. So I don't really have set kind of techniques that I use. But anxiety and depression are actually very closely related.
Okay.
I think, yeah, like
I give you a tough
anxiety
one.
and depression are often comorbid. They often, occur together. And joint anxiety and depression is suffered by about 9% of people. It's the most common mental health diagnosis. So, yeah, they're often related. Reason for that, I think, people with anxiety, they tend to isolate themselves, which leads to a reduced social circle, a reduced support network,
Hmm.
um, and then they, start to experience feelings of depression. Um, but yeah, depression can also be caused by, grief, uh, trauma. Trauma can cause depression. So can surviving chronic illness. There can be many, many causes of depression.
Yeah, definitely. I stay away from the news. I'll go home and my mom has the news on. Did you hear what happened? I'm just like, nope, don't want to hear it either. If it's an emergency, it will go beep world and give us a big, sign. But it's just sad because I think it's gonna eat away at people with the politics and what people are hearing, that is depressing. That means you're going to be busier, which is okay by you. You know, it's like, tell me what's bothering you. Well, I saw on the news it said this and this, you know. But, you know, also in real cases, I work with a lot of people who've been through abuse, verbal and emotionally. Also, yeah, I hate bringing up the word, but the word narcissist gets used a lot. So I've helped people try to find their way to safe grounding and get away from that energy, because they don't need that in their life. And especially if they have little ones, they need to plant them and their kids in a safe spot. But reflecting on it, I'm just kind of going back. There's some memories maybe somebody doesn't want to remember. Have you ever been in a situation where they thought they were going in and they were gonna like relive this one thing, but they relived a different thing?
Um, no.
Well, they're all
No,
set in their ways. Okay. Because
no,
I'm trying.
I never like take clients into hypnosis to relive a memory. I I would never do that. You know, some therapists do that, but you don't know where the client's gonna end up. You know, like you said, you don't know where they're gonna go, and like there are techniques that you can use. You can use like a safe space,
Yes.
and you can. I mean, that would take more sessions to do that, because you'd have to get the client used to that safe space, so that if you regress them to something that is very difficult for them to deal with, they can, you know, go back to their safe
Well,
space.
I'm
So
just, you know, I was like, what if they're, because when you close your eyes, it's a state of meditation. So maybe they don't mean to think of it, but it just comes up. And that's the real thing they need to throw at you. Be like, okay, no, this is coming up more than this. This is what I need to focus on to get away this trauma, you know, this experience that happened to me. But
yeah,
definitely. So um online, so I guess you do Zoom meetings, is it? Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Now, we were also mentioning you have a podcast also. So tell me about your podcast.
I do have a podcast, Anxiety Hypnotherapist. I've been running my podcast for about 2 years now. It's yeah, on my podcast, I give workshops regularly, almost every week, and I often put recordings of the workshops on my podcast. Also have hypnosis recordings on there. Have a YouTube channel, which I try to also again put workshop recordings on, hypnosis recordings, give videos on various topics on
Okay.
emotional eating, um, overcoming narcissism, inner child healing. That's all on my podcast and my YouTube channel.
Awesome. So it's a lot of fun doing podcasts because you get to help educate people and stuff they didn't know too. So yeah, definitely 2 years. That's good. So I mean, I've only been at this what, maybe 6 months, and I'm like, whoa, you know, I can see myself doing this the rest of my life because I started a career back in the past interviewing people, but at the time it was just too much because you had a really videographer and I had to pay them to edit and do the filming. But then here's Zoom and then here's podcasts, and it's like, oh, okay, we got this now. So but definitely. So, I know I'm going to be putting your socials up online so people can find you, of course. So, I want to make sure I've touched all bases with you. I mean, definitely. So, I mean, have you, I guess one of my other questions, people from the United States contact you in your clientele?
Absolutely. Yeah, most of my clients are from the UK, some are from the United States, some are from all over the world.
Oh, wow. Wow. See, I'm gonna watch some of your videos. I'm interested. So, I mean, it's one thing to talk to you and interview. My head is like, well, I probably got some ADD somewhere where I'd be changing my mind. You'd probably be sick and tired of me as a client. So, but I definitely thought this is something I do want to try. So I am definitely going to be reaching back out to you and see, I'm going to see what you can uncover like on all the stuff I've been on. So, and hit those traumas that have gone through because I think when you can know self-love and love yourself and act, you need to start healing and taking some of those traumas and anxiety and depression away to help you out. So this is a perfect solution, and I'm sure like I'll probably do a session with you and come back and journal about it and be like, I had a great session today. This is what I thought of. This is what happened, and show that positivity going through there and everything. So, um, and you have a website, correct? It's probably
I do. Anxietyhypnotherapist.org.
org. Okay, so definitely perfect, perfect. Is email the best way to reach you or direct message?
Um, on my website, people can schedule a call. They can schedule a 20-minute free call with me to discuss one-to-one therapy to find out how I can help them to see if we're a good fit to work together. So that's really the best way to get hold of me.
Wow. Okay, that's good to know too, because I know sometimes it's hard when you send an email and it just doesn't go through. And then I feel like I'm gonna go on Facebook just like I did. Hey, just checking in. So, but definitely, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on our show and teaching everybody about what you do. Highly recommend you for people to come and see you, just like myself. I also wanted to thank our other sponsors on the show. As I mentioned before, we have lifeonrecord.com, your interactive guest book. We also have Bridal Shows Incorporated. So they have just updated their website. If you went to bridalshowsinc.com, they will have a list of their different trade shows throughout the Dallas Fort Worth area so you can meet different vendors, get pricing on what vendors you would need for your event. Then we have partytimetexas.com, your one-stop shop for all your planning needs. If you need a DJ, a band, a caterer, a venue, a florist, a belly dancer, a clown, we got it all. So you can visit them once again at www.partytimetexas.com. Then we have Miles and Smiles, and she is a handwriting analyst and a lipstick reader, and she does investigating. She's pretty good. I mean, not even pretty good, really good. She's down to the point, knows her stuff. DeborahRose.com. Then we have Bryce Harney, who is traveling the United States right now, is a magician and mind mentalist. And you can find his information at www.brycemagic.com. And our last one is richmondpunch.net. He is a wonderful violinist, graduated from the Juilliards, has been in the Dallas area, now living in Atlanta, but he travels all over the United States. If you need a good violinist, look him up. Other than that, everybody have a great holiday season. It's coming up. And you know what? Do you give gift cards? I bet you do for your services, or do they just call you?
Yeah, I don't really do gift cards, but I might. That's something I should consider. Yes.
Be like, I feel that my daughter needs this. Let's go. So, but you know what? Even if you don't have a paper gift card, you just write it on a Word document and they have the little or Canva, certificate. Yeah. So, but definitely, thank you so much for being on this show. Thank you, everybody. Mwah! Love and
Thank you
light.
for having me.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
You're
Bye
welcome.
bye.
Bye bye.